He died while having sex with the woman he was going to leave my mother for. No goodbye, no closure, just a sudden collapse in a stranger's bed, in the middle of what was supposed to be his grand escape. And now, his gravestone reads, "In loving memory of John Doe, son, husband, father, and adulterer." That final word? Adulterer. Etched in stone, forever. And they want me to change it. But I won't, because I didn't write it. My mother did. And every single letter of that inscription, as bitter as it sounds, is the truth. Let me tell you the story of how we got here. Growing up, my dad was the kind of man people liked. He was charismatic in public, efficient at work, never missed a parent-teacher night, always made sure we had what we needed. To the world, he looked like a devoted family man. But behind the walls of our house, things were different. Quiet tension brewed like a storm that never fully broke, until it finally did. The last years of my parents' marriage were filled with cold silences and locked doors. My siblings and I were already grown by then, some of us out of the house, some finishing college. My youngest sibling had just turned 19 and started freshman year. We thought maybe they were just drifting, like some long-married couples do. What we didn't know was that he had already made up his mind to leave. Not just to move out, to vanish. He was planning to skip the country, start a brand new life in Canada with a woman from work, also married, who was now pregnant with his child. They had picked out a house, quiet place, good schools, scenic views. He was going to leave my mother and take on a new name, a new family, a new identity. As if decades of our lives could be shed like an old skin. He moved out, started living with her, left my mom in a house filled with unanswered questions and the weight of betrayal. No divorce filed, no legal separation, but everything else, already in motion. Then came the heart attack. A sudden, violent snap in the middle of an intimate act with the woman he was planning to flee with. One moment he was alive, the next, gone. There was no will, no instructions, just chaos. And my mother, the wife he had abandoned but never legally separated from, was the one left to deal with everything. The estate, the funeral, the body, and the gravestone. I came back to my hometown to help her sort through it all. She was heartbroken, yes. But more than that, she was humiliated. Not just because he had cheated, not just because he had gotten another woman pregnant, but because in the end, he hadn't even had the courage to face her. He died mid-escape and left her holding the wreckage. That's when she made the decision. She sat at the kitchen table, stared at the form from the monument company, and wrote it in clean, simple script. In loving memory of John Doe, son, husband, father, and adulterer. She didn't cry. She didn't shout. She just wrote it, quietly, and mailed it in. The stone was carved, installed, and unveiled without ceremony. And then the phone calls started. His family, his siblings, his parents were furious. How dare she defile his memory like that? How could she do something so petty, so cruel? And the other woman, the pregnant partner, she reached out too, crying, accusing, pleading. They all wanted it changed. They couldn't believe my mother would humiliate him like that. But they didn't ask her. They asked me. They told me to pay for a new gravestone, to fix it, to make it right. And I told them, simply, I can't. It's not my plot. It's not my choice. And honestly, I don't disagree with what she did. Because here's the part they don't want to hear. He was all of those things. He was a son. He was a husband. He was our father. And yes, he was an adulterer. That word doesn't erase the rest. It completes it. It's not a joke. It's not a meme. It's not even petty, really. It's a truth too heavy to carry in silence. And if he didn't want that to be part of his legacy, maybe he shouldn't have made it part of his life. Now they say it's disrespectful, that it hurts his memory, that it will haunt his future child. But what about the hurt he left behind? What about the woman he deceived for years? The children he betrayed with a second secret family? The wife who was supposed to bury him with dignity while still bleeding from his choices? People like to say, don't speak ill of the dead. But death doesn't erase your actions. It doesn't wipe your slate clean. It just freezes your story in time. And sometimes, the final chapter deserves to be honest. So when they call me and tell me I need to change it, I say no, because I didn't write the inscription. I just watched my mother finally get the last word. She didn't get to yell at him. She didn't get to slam the door. She didn't get to see him apologize or regret or even face her again. But she did get to tell the truth, out loud, in granite, a truth that no one can erase, and that's why I won't change it. So, am I the asshole? This one stays with you, not because of the drama, though it's dramatic, but because of what it says about truth, about grief, and about the stories we leave behind. A man makes 1,000 choices in private and thinks the world will only remember the parts he showed in public. But people don't just grieve the dead. They grieve the damage too. That gravestone isn't a punchline. It's a monument to pain, to betrayal, and yes, to justice in its rawest form. Some will say the wife should have taken the high road, that she should have let it go. But let me ask you, why is the burden of grace always put on the ones who were wounded? Why do we protect the reputations of the dead and ignore the realities of the living? This story isn't about being petty. It's about being honest. And maybe, just maybe, about giving voice to a hurt that was never allowed to speak. So now, it speaks in stone. What do you think? Was it cruel? Or was it necessary? Was it crossing the line? Or drawing one? Tell us in the comments. What would you have done? This is AITA Story Vault, where the truth is rarely simple, but always worth telling.